Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? I think I'm live. Let me refresh my YouTube and catch up with y'all so I can see chat. All right. There we go. Hi, guys. How you doing? We haven't talked for a while. There's been nothing happening as far as the court docket. And, I don't like just making random videos, so I try to wait for news. But we've got some news, so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Recently, we know last week the Chandler Police Department released via a FOIA request from Justin Lum and it's a bunch of other journalists requested all of the discovery for the Charles Vallow murder case. And 2,500 pages have been released to them. I am working on getting a copy. It's going to take a few more days. But in the meantime, Garna Mejia, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce her last name, Mejia, for KSL News. She has been posting tons of stuff. Justin has been posting tons of stuff. Nate Eaton has been posting tons of stuff. Eric Grossarth, both from East Idaho News, and even the Pretty Lies and Alibis YouTube channel podcast, they have been posting tons of stuff. So all of their links are in the description below. So please give them all a follow and tell them thank you for all the hard work that they're doing. So we're going to talk about the documents that have been posted so far and just run through them because there's a lot. Now, is there anything shockingly new? Not exactly, but there's a lot of dots that have been connected with these documents. And man, I keep saying this just can't get any worse, and it keeps getting worse. So we're going to go through the documents, everything that I've gotten so far, one by one, and we're going to talk about what they are. And go ahead and leave your opinions about what they are in chat and what you think about it. But I just want to make sure we all have all of this information because it's big. It's big. One thing that I'll say so far from what I've seen is that they have done all of their homework. Okay, just from the information we've seen, it's like, oh, all right, they are on top of all of this. We haven't heard a lot of things about certain people in the case or this, that, and the other, and like, well, aren't they looking at that? Guess what? Yeah, they are. So excellent. It's really good news in that, in that frame. I's are being dotted, T's are being crossed, every stone is being unturned. All right, so that's all anyone wants to know. So let's start. First, let me say hi to people in chat. We got Paige Rogers, Amanda, Rosie, all the mods, Miss Sophia. I'm so glad you're here. It was fun to see you over on Chris's channel the other night. Rosie, Georgia Lindsay, Tina Osborne. I know most of the mods are here. A lot of them are in, quiet mode just to keep an eye on chat. Let's keep chat nice and clean today, okay? No calls for violence, no hate speech. We are not here to bash the LDS religion or anything like that. Okay, so let's keep chat nice and clean. The Swing 90 says, will the entire trial be streamed for Chandler? We have no idea yet. As of this moment, I don't expect to see a trial this year. We're going to have to wait and see what's scheduled by the court and how that plays out. So don't hold your breath for the trial because you'll be waiting a very long time. And even when they do go to trial, will they be live? Probably, because of the enormous public interest in this case. And, we'll all be watching it together when that happens, but it could be quite a while from now. So we'll know more about that. As told by Theolin, nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. It says, I think the most stunning revelation is that Kay was in contact with Leo way before the children's death. We're going to get into that because, honestly, Kay Woodcock ped this from day one. She had this sorted on day one. And man, that's a big deal. So yeah, and it looks like she was 150% right about all of her fears. So yeah, we're going to talk about that when we get there. Feeding It is here. Hi, Feeding It. Hi, Paisley Dreams. Volkish Fraulein. Hello. Good evening to you. Tastefully Frugal. All right, let's get into the documents. I would just like to sit here and chat all day because we haven't chatted for so long, but there's so much to get through. All right, right on your screen right now, you're going to see a really blurry picture. This is a surveillance photo that was taken in Hawaii of Chad Daybell. And this was taken around the same time that we know, remember, Nate flew out there and they were trying to track him down in Hawaii. Well, law enforcement was already on it. They were on them. They knew where they were. They were surveilling them. That's kind of, that's a thing. Let me get all my notes open. I may not see chat for a bit as I flip through these. So that's the first picture that we have. And then also along with Chad, they also got a photo of Lori. So there's the surveillance photos. Presumably that's outside the apartment or condo that they rented. I'm not sure what that building is. But so yeah, surveillance of Chad and Lori in Hawaii. Okay. Let's move on. Oops. You think I'd be good at this, but now I'm not. All right. Next up on your screen. This is an email from, back up, number 3. This email from Detective Nathan Duncan to Carrie Cooper at the FBI. And this was sent on January 30th. So I'm going to read it through quickly and read it on your screen. You should be able to see it clearly. Well, let's talk about this. This is, good morning, Carrie. We are totally swamped over here right now, and I have not been updated on anything new regarding the Vallow case. I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know about some of the important things that I discovered while looking through Lori's iCloud. Hopefully this will be of use when she is interviewed. The actual iCloud dump is coming to you through Moffat. In looking through her iCloud records, Lori is taking screenshots of an actual computer. Most screenshots are of booking confirmations, car rental, hotel rental, airline fares. I would assume that this computer would be beneficial when seized. It does not appear that Lori is communicating with anyone using text messages. She did have a text content on the cloud, but she seems careful not to discuss anything using text and will ask people to call her. The most important fact that I observed was a screenshot showing the purchase of 2 wedding bands that were silver with a green inlay. The modification date on the photo was August of 2019. This would indicate that the screenshot was taken before then. These bands appear to be the same bands that Lori and Chad are wearing in their wedding photo. But I did locate the maker of the wedding bands. Unfortunately, he informed me that he canceled his order because he was too busy with school. He operated his business on Etsy and has since closed his site. My guess is Lori utilized Etsy to purchase similar wedding bands. I think a warrant to Etsy would show this purchase. One additional irony is the fact that Lori booked a flight from Phoenix to Idaho the day after Tammy died. Ooh, that was a big thing. In regards to the children, it appears that Lori has 2 photographs on her phone of significance. They show photographs of rifle ammunition from a store in Idaho. It would be worth looking into ASAP. The following are notes I took from looking through the records that would help establish a timeline. All right, so that was Detective Nathan Duncan to Carrie Cooper at the FBI. All right, that's kind of a big deal. Let's go on to the next photo. Oops, that's the other one. Here we go. All right, now this part is hard to read. All right, let's read through it and we'll discuss what's going on here. This is a text message exchange between Kay Woodcock and Lori Vallow. Lo, y'all okay? I'm worried. Please just send a quick text that y'all okay. Did you see flight itineraries? You good with it? Love you. Kisses for JJ from me and Papa. And Lori responds, sorry, yes, we are okay. Been busy. I've never received any email from you. We have been figuring out what to do. JJ won't be able to go to Louisiana next week. We are moving back to Hawaii ASAP before school starts there. Please send me the address that you want me to send the ashes to for your memorial. I'll also send a box of things for Cole and Zach. If you could give it to them, that would be great. Thanks. It goes on. Is there any way possible I can get him? I can be there tomorrow since he's out of school. Once you're settled in Hawaii, I will bring him to you there. It breaks my heart he won't be able to attend service. Us keeping him while you move will help you. Win-win situation. I had rethought flight plans after I booked. Since you said he is out of school from tomorrow until 8/5. I want to change and get him tomorrow anyway, but you didn't reply to my text. Please let me know. However, we can work this out. We will bend over backwards to work around your schedule. I need JJ hugs and kisses very badly right now. Everyone is looking forward to seeing him. Please, Lo. And Lori says, well, once we are settled there, you are welcome to come visit him. It is just too confusing for him right now. He won't know what's going on at the memorial. It's better this way. Send me the address and I'll have him FaceTime you tonight. Yes, now this exchange happened sometime between July 11th, when Charles was killed, and July 27th, which is when the memorial service was held. What this is saying is that Kay had booked flight arrangements to go pick up JJ and fly back with him to Louisiana for Charles's service. And this is Lori not paying attention, not working with her. And she's begging her, please, Lo, please let me get JJ. But Lori would not allow it. Anyway. So there's that. Let's move on. I would like to sit and chat about all of these for a long time, but we'd be here for 12 hours. So we shall move on to the next one. All of these documents are available on Twitter, like Justin and Nate has them, and Garna has them, and all these Twitter accounts have them, but they're also all posted in Discord if you need any of them for yourself. All right, this is just gross. I'm just going to put that up for a second. I don't know why this was even in there, but apparently this is a thing. Who cares? Yes, it shows Chad wearing the weird ring. Whatever. I don't even want to look at that. Let's go over here. Now, this is something that, as told by Thielen, was talking about earlier in chat. This is dated August 9th of 2019. Okay, so remember that date. This is August. All right, this is before anything had happened with the kids, months before. Right, and this is an email from Kay Woodcock to Detective Nathaniel Moffat. Hi, Nathan. We are seriously worried about JJ's safety and well-being. Is it possible for you to check his school on Monday to see if he's been there, or if he's there, been there, and he's okay? If he's out of his routine, he will be combative, uncooperative, etc. His teachers will know how home life is by his actions. Lori hasn't responded to texts or calls since the text she sent about kids getting nothing, and I got all insurance money. We're extremely worried. We can't lose him too. Please, please, please help us. We're heartbroken. We cannot lose him too. If Lori was sane, I wouldn't be worried. She's not. She stated she didn't want him anymore in January, and now she doesn't have him. Oh, now she doesn't have $1 million. She really won't want him now, other than a measly Social Security check for her. $1,900 and JJ's $1,900. She's screwed unless she has a new boyfriend with deep pockets. Who knows? Please help us. Kay Woodcock. Wow. All right. So there's that. Let's move on to the next one. This is a follow-up email that Kay also sent to Nathaniel Moffat and Detective Pillar, and this was on December 2nd. Okay, so this was right after they had done the wellness check by a couple days. Good evening, guys. I hope you enjoyed your holiday. Now that Loco and her homicidal crew have scattered like cockroaches, when a light is turned on, what's the next step? Can her car or phone be pinged? We have to find JJ. Is there anything we can do? Larry and I are struggling very hard with this. We stayed with positive thoughts for JJ since Charles's murder. Now it's diminishing by the hour. We must find him immediately. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you. So you can imagine the desperation that they were feeling at this point. But that's utterly heartbreaking. So let's move on now. Next, this is an email that was sent on September 5th of 2019. Let me make it bigger so it's readable. This was sent from Lori to the Life Academy where JJ was going to school. All right. Hi, Ashley and Life friends. Since the circumstances in our lives have changed drastically since my husband passed away last month, I have been offered a job out of state and have to accept it. We have to move quickly since the job started ASAP, so I'm sad to inform you that Joshua won't be returning this year. You have been so great to get him this year, and his DDD funding and scholarships have all just finally been settled. I really appreciate all you've done for JJ. I will continue to recommend Life to all of our friends like I did with Trevin Lettner. We are doing our best to adjust to our new life. Please let me know what you need me to do to withdraw him. You can email me a withdrawal form, whatever needs to happen. Thank you again, Life Academy. We really loved our time with you, Lori Vallow. So there's that. All right, remember that was September 5th, 2019. Okay. Actually, wait a minute. September 5th, 2019. Okay, we know that JJ was actually withdrawn from school on the 23rd or 24th, something like that. That doesn't add up with the previously known timeline of the last day that JJ attended school and when Lori said she pulled him out. So very interesting. We'll have to look more into why the discrepancy, because this should be the end of September, not the 5th, according to what we know so far. So there's a discrepancy here, but we will check into that. All right, the next photo. These photos were found on Lori's iCloud. These were one of the first photos that Justin put up once he got these documents. In fact, I think this was the very first photo. I'm not sure. This was found on Lori's iCloud, and allegedly this was taken at the gun shop. I don't know if that's actually the name of the shop. From Garna's tweet, it appears that the name of the store is called The Gun Shop in Idaho, and this was on Lori's iCloud. This is 5.6 millimeter by 45 millimeter ammunition. This is assault rifle ammo. Why is Lori taking a picture of that? You're gonna have to figure that out yourself. But this was on her phone, and there are two images. So there's this one and this one. showing the different ammunition. So she was looking at it. I don't know why you'd take pictures of ammo unless, I don't know. Let's not speculate, but these are on Lori's. I think it says a lot. Yeah, so those were on Lori's phone. Now, these are dated the 23rd of September. The 23rd. Remember, the 22nd, or October, sorry. September. Gosh, I am so confused. September 9/22 was the last known photo of JJ, and we're getting to that one soon. 9/23, the very next day, is when these photos show up on Lori's iCloud. So that's something to think about. Think about that timeline of events, because it's a little like, what was going on there? All right, let's go to the next. This is the last known photo of JJ. Now, this is something that we've kind of known about. Certainly, it's been on the Reddit sphere and Facebook groups for a year. We knew that there was a photo of JJ on the couch from the 22nd. Now, everything that I heard, we always seemed to assume it was from that evening. But no, this was the modified time is 11:46 UTC. So it was probably taken either at that time or before. So this is much earlier in the day than we had thought that photo was taken. But he's sitting there in red pajamas. Looks like he has a plastic cup on his hand with a string or something. He's just chilling, being a very normal child. So this was early in the day on the 22nd. We know from testimony at the preliminary hearing and certainly all over the internet that he was found wearing something red pajamas. So seeing this is just, I don't know. It's very, very hard. But it's a very important document. It's important to know when this photo was taken, where it was uploaded to, because this could be the very last photo of JJ. So that is in these documents. It's very hard. It's very sad, but it's an important document. So I kind of wanted to just leave it out because it's so heartbreaking, but it's so important that we got to go over it. So there you go. Let's move on. Trying to get through this without being an emotional basket case. The next photo, this, again, it's not any easier to look at. This photo, all right, is, this was found on Lori's iCloud, dated for September 14th, so prior to the one that we just saw. And there's a place called Yellowstone Bear World. It's not actually at Yellowstone. It's a little bit near Rexburg, but it's kind of like a little park thingy. And they found a 40-second video on Lori's iCloud that puts Lori, Alex, and JJ at Yellowstone Bear World. Okay, and this is a picture of JJ on a ride. My first reaction was like, why is that kid on that ride by himself? One of you get on there with him. But that's just me. But this was from the 14th of September. Okay, so a week and a half or so before the 22nd. That's the thing. Yes, it is proof of life that he was alive, at least at this date, and then also at the 22nd. So it's important for the timeline to know all of that. Sophie says, didn't the detective say that JJ was found in red pages? Yeah, that's part of the testimony from Chad's preliminary hearing. But yeah. And okie dokie, yeah, this one kind of hurts a little bit more because it looks so like you just want to go sit next to him and grab him, like, come on, buddy, let's go for a ride. It really evokes that spirit. But yes, Tylee was not at this event. All right. And that's a very important document. So there's that one. Moving on. Now, here comes a series of photos that Alex Cox took. Well, one was taken of him, but other was that he took at a place called Mesa Falls. All right. It says, based on my research, I think these falls are known as Mesa Falls. On the 14th, Alex sent Lori an email from his Yahoo account sharing 2 photos of the falls. My guess were that the falls are some sort of importance. What's going on with Mesa Falls? I don't know. I haven't heard mention of that before, but let's look at the pictures. The first picture is of Alex taking a picture of the falls. Who took that picture? It does not say. I would really like to know who took that picture of Alex. Somebody was there with him. Was it a friend? Was it his sister? Was it, who knows? Zulema? Maybe they were dating. I don't think they were dating at the time. But somebody took this picture of Alex, so we need to know that. And they have the metadata. This was taken on October 6th. All right, so 6 days after the end of September, and we know what the end of September was. So there you go. Now, this is one of the pictures Alex took. It's a beautiful picture, I suppose. But this is Mesa Falls. Was this a significant place, as the detective suggests in that little clip we saw? Or was he just roaming around taking pictures? Maybe he wanted to be a photographer. Who knows? But these were taken on October 6th. Here's the other one, a different perspective. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about Mesa Falls, why this might be significant to them after the events of September, I'd be interested to know that. Why was he just out sightseeing for a day? Really? That's all you got to do is go sightsee, Alex? Come on. So, Tina says, Mesa Falls is where Chad and Tammy visited. Google Tammy Daybell Mesa Falls, and you will see the pic I'm referring to. Excellent. That's what we're talking about. Let's narrow it down. Why was this important to Alex and or Lori? So, and this is, from October 6th. So, yep, Algo, definitely, we're going to get to that. Definitely, that's a big deal. Problem in the timeline. Actually, that's not, do I have the separate information for that? Let's talk about that right now while we look at this photo. The information that Lori, that their phones pinged, we know that Alex's phone pinged at Lori's house the night after the 8th, right? They went the 8th to Yellowstone with the children. Actually, I do have that later on. We'll talk about that when it comes up because I have the actual document in front of me. Sorry about that. Moving on. Don't mean to distract you. All right, this. Now we have 2 emails from Charles to Lori. And these show a lot about Charles's frame of mind, how much he loved her, how much he wanted to help, and all the stuff that was going on. So I am going to read through this. I know this is going to be lengthy, but these are really, really important documents. And remember, this entire document dump is coming from the investigation into Charles's death. Okay, so that's why there's a heavy focus on Charles with this, because this is coming out of Chandler, Arizona. So this says, Lori, the purpose of this email is again to try and establish a family connection with you and our son. Also, clarify the facts as I've seen them, regardless of where you want to go with a divorce. It's been 38 days since you've made any contact with us. So presumably, this is between that January, February, March, April time when she was in Hawaii with April Raymond, telling April about all these horrible things Charles was doing and all of that. So that's presumably when this is from, but we'll get into that in a minute. This is necessary because when I saw Alex this past Saturday, he made me aware that I had somehow taken JJ and tried to put you in jail. What Alex says was confusing. I was really further confused that the entire family had refused contact, not just with me, but also JJ. Lori, on January 30th, I received a call from you stating that we were done and all my stuff was gone from the house. I flew back to Phoenix to find that my truck, along with my wallet and keys, had been taken from the airport. I also saw that $35,000 was taken from the business account by you. $22,000 was to be paid the next day to other reps. I called the police to file a vehicle theft report. While explaining the circumstances, the police officer also suggested I stop by and talk to a place called Bridges, which you know is Community Bridges, about your involvement. They are the ones that ordered the psych eval. Once home, Gilbert Police helped me break into our own home. When I got in, I discovered everyone gone. Also, JJ's clothes, JJ's favorite iPad, my clothes, work computer, even Bailey's training collar were also gone. The next morning, I got a rental car and went to JJ's school. When you entered the gates with JJ, I did go to your car and retrieved your purse. You obviously had a spare set of keys and left. I texted you asking to return my things and I would give you back your purse. You responded by text telling me where my truck and clothes could be found. You also asked me to drop off your purse with Angela when I picked up JJ from school that day, which I did. On the same day, Cave received a text from you. She didn't tell me about it till Friday, February 1st. I was shocked beyond belief when I read it. In case you don't recall, here it is, and that is redacted. Lori, if it somehow makes you feel better to make these kinds of accusations, then I certainly can't stop you. But for the record, you and I both know it's ridiculous. You are my one and only for 14 years, period. Only after hearing this from Alex did I begin to put the pieces together. Let's go on to the next page. And this is presumably a different email, or continuation of that. Lori, you are the only one whose response I will accept to the following offer. On Friday, March 15th, I will have all of my stuff vacated from the house. You may have it back on Saturday, March 16th. I will continue to pay all the bills, and you and I can work out a schedule with JJ. I will also schedule a locksmith to change all the locks for you. I need to know if this is acceptable by Monday morning, March 11th. I am unaware of your wants and needs because you have not contacted me in any way or responded to any of my efforts. If you have not contacted me, the only conclusion I can draw is that after 38 days, you and your family no longer want communication with JJ. This will be your choice. I'm going to take action and continue to take care of JJ because I'm not getting any response for you. I have no other choice. You have taken away all his family here. It makes us both really sad, and I really hurt for him. You're his mother. He misses you. Please agree to see your son. That's heartbreaking. I don't know which family members he's talking about when he says that the family won't even have contact with JJ. Clearly, it's Lori's family. He's talking about the Cox family. He's not talking about the Woodcocks or any of them. But is he talking about what? Summer, Janice, Barry, Alex, Adam? Who is he talking about? Which members of Lori's family were refusing contact with JJ? So that we don't know for sure. But, but he's offering to pay all of the bills and let her have the house and, begging her to see her son. So, yeah, let's move on. The next one. All right, now this is interesting. This one I thought was very interesting. Now, somewhere in my notes, right, I have notebooks full of scribbles everywhere. And on one page, there's a note that Lori may have gone to Missouri with Melanie Pulowski in October. I have no idea where that note came from. I don't know where I heard it from. It's been scribbled with bunches of question marks. Like, what? Who? What the heck's in Missouri? What's going on? What is this? Right? And it's been in my research board for a while. We haven't really been able to pin it down. We're getting somewhere with this. All right. Here's a flight that was booked by Lori Ryan. All right. From Idaho to Phoenix on October 8th. Right? Remember that date. That's an important date. So from Idaho to Phoenix. Okay. Who took that flight is my first question. Did anybody take the flight at all? And my other question is Lori Ryan. Now, is it possible the screen is just cut off and she went by Lori Ryan Vallow? Did she actually use the name Lori Ryan? Because as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong in chat, if you book a flight and you show up, your name on the ID better darn well match your flight passport. I mean, your flight ticket, or you're not getting on the plane, right? I can't book a plane under Sue Smith and show up with an ID that says Bob Doe and get on a plane, as far as I know. So she must have had some sort of ID with Lori Ryan, but she had been married to Charles Vallow for years. They were married for 14 years. So where was she get? What is going on? An old driver's license that was still valid, because I don't think you can use an expired driver's license. The name on her Hawaii license, which we'll see in a minute, says Lori Noreen Ryan Vallow. So maybe it's okay if she left off Vallow. I don't know. But it's interesting. There's a discrepancy between what her name should have been legally at the time and what the name she used to book this flight. However, I don't know if she actually got on this flight. We don't know. But this booking was made. All right, so there's that for October 8th. All right, now let's look at this document. This is a very interesting document. All right, so it says, good morning. Just going through Lori's iCloud this morning to look into this device further. Make it a little bigger, it's hard to read. There we go. Here's the timeline that I came up with. On October 7th, on 2019, Lori Googled maps of the United States as well as how long it would take to drive from Rexburg to Independence, Missouri. Okay. Then she started to look at flights. At 10:21 hours, Alex sent her a text asking where she was. She responded, JJ school, be home in a few minutes. These messages were deleted but recovered. At 10:55, Lori Googled, and here's a bunch of Lori sent a text from an unknown person that was deleted. Lori sent a text to da-da-da. So all of that's redacted. We have no idea who she was texting or what it was about. Then there are Google searches for flights from Phoenix to Missouri. Okay, that's an interesting thing. And then more deleted or redacted text that we can't see. More redacted text. Lori texted Audrey, presumably at 8:57 hours. That probably should have been redacted. And at 11:15 hours, Lori texted Melanie Boudreau something. All right, and on the 9th, There are pictures and videos of a young child at a splash pad. It is obvious that Lori stayed with Melanie during this time. All right. So I believe at that time, Melanie Boudreau, she was still Melanie Boudreau, lived in Arizona, right, with her husband, Brandon. They might have been starting the divorce process. I don't think they were actually divorced. They might have been, because she married Ian pretty quick. Yeah, we know that Melanie Boudreau did not rent the apartment in Rexburg until November 1st. She moved in November 1st, I think. So maybe Lori went to Phoenix to stay with Melanie and see her, and from there they went to Missouri. Well, the last paragraph here. I think that we also confirmed that Lori flew from Idaho to Arizona alone during this time, so she probably just brought JJ's iPad with her. Would be interesting to see if it connected in Missouri between the 10th and the 12th. All right, so for me, this is like, all right, this is the Missouri connection. Finally, this is starting to make sense. The name Audrey, there is a person tangentially involved in the case. Prepper kind of preparing a people connection with Audrey. I'm not going to get into her name yet or her picture because I'm still working that out. But she's named here. And that person, Audrey, is from Independence, Missouri. So there you go. Okay, it's like, well, that's all adding up now. And they're saying that they believe Lori was there between the 10th and the 12th in Missouri because they think JJ's iPad might have connected there if she had used it. Okay, so it looks like Lori goes to Phoenix on the 8th. Lori and Melanie either drive or fly to Independence, Missouri for a couple days, come back. And all of this happened during the time that Tammy Daybell was shot at. Remember, or that was first of the month, while Tammy Daybell was actually killed. So, killed allegedly, I guess we still have to say. So yeah, there's that. This is a big connection that was made in these documents. So let's move on. All right, this is I'm not sure where this comes from. Justin put this up, and he was like, more stuff about this stuff, you know. Alex Cox says multiple creation. Fourth creation exalted 9 times. Sibling to me 2 times on fourth creation. Rose is exalted. Married 3 times on fourth creation and something companions after fourth creation. His mission is to help Lori. Who wrote this? I don't know. Could have been Chad, maybe. Could have been somebody else. And who is Rose? I'm going to ask Chad right now. Any of you know who this Rose is that they're referring to? Is that a code name for someone? Or I don't know of a Rose that's connected to Alex or if this is Chad writing it or whoever. So if you know who Rose is, please put a big thing in chat with bright emojis so I can see it. But I'm not sure who Rose is and why is she exalted? No idea. And sibling to me 2 times. Sibling to who? Obviously this isn't Lori writing it. It says his mission is to help Lori at the end, unless she speaks in third person, possibly. So I would assume this could be like from Chad. So who's a Rose that Chad knows? I don't know. But so there's that. All right, now this document. This oh, this one. This is a trip. This is completely illegible, as you can see, even if I make it really, really big. You can make out a few words here and there. You know, Oregon, Rod Meldrum, Christopher Parrott. Oh, that's interesting. Sean Little Bear. You can kind of extrapolate a few names just because you know what the names are. But it's pretty much illegible. However, I have a present for you. I have the original of this. Boom. Now we can read it. All right, but before I read it, this needs a disclaimer. Okay. This is information that someone named Dan Judd, and we'll get into him, brought to the family. And they, in turn, of course, went to law enforcement like, what is this? You know, and this was looked at. But this is the information that Dan Judd brought to the family. So it is this document right here. Right? If you look at the headers, you can see they match. But for some reason, in the document dump, it's illegible. I don't know why they did that. Maybe they didn't want it to be read. But this letter has already been out. It's on Reddit. It's been everywhere for a year. But we all just kind of like, that's weird, and walked away from it. All right, so I'm going to read it. But understand, this is not fact. This is not truth. This is just Dan Judd's crazy brainwaves. Okay? So please don't get too crazy about the information in here. But let's read it. All right, this was to the FBI from Larry and Kay Woodcock about Dan Judd. Okay, now, this is a summary of the message that Dan Judd sent to the family. Lori Vallow and Alex Cox were involved in a plan to raise money for an upcoming legal battle. They arranged a meth shipment from Arizona through Utah to Idaho. This detective thinks that the money went through Chad Daybell's publishing business, and it's possible that Tammy Douglas Daybell noticed the cash influx and traced the money. He believes that Tammy may have been killed with pure beta. On or about September, Alex and Lori, the detective, says that a wet submerged fruit shipment of meth was sent from Arizona through Utah to Idaho, may be impacted at a narcotic transshipment. A careful review of Alex Cox Lori central to well-shielded kingpin operation, he says, you should in particular note that a huge dismantle of meth shipments were specific to Idaho, Oregon at the same time near September. Lori's motives and actions were unclear. Facts are sparse that the thread of inquiry and my hand at this time, Sosa and Lori meet up with cash, volumes that impacted estimates of the publishing house, the events that comprise Alex Cox's threat via transaction, why Tammy Daybell might have followed cash flow inquiry. Look at what finances at the AZ Utah Idaho Land and Transport Dev and at the Sosa Lori link. Also check the huge legal fee via the Rexburg law firm. Hector Sosa Jr. was born in Puerto Rico. He began having visions of future events as a young boy, a gift he inherited from his mother. At the age of 13, he and his family joined the LDS Church. He began having visions, prophecies, and doctrines taught by church leaders. It states that his foreseen visions were blah, 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 as listed in the Bible. He lists all the people involved in a vow. He lists Michael and Nancy James, Rod Meldrum, Christopher Parrott, Mike Stroud, Connie Croshaw, Eric Endres, Sean Littlebear, Stephen French, Jack Lyon, Jacob Fulmer, Lloyd Erickson, Richard Holmes, Jonathan Neville. These people have alias. Neville has a business partner who is a thing. Neville tried to hire Dan Judd as a headhunter. And, let's get his phone number off there. I didn't know that was on there. Don't call Dan Judd. Please don't. I'll redact that before I put that back up. Right, first, okie dokie, thank you so much for the huge super chat. Oh my goodness. In honor of the victims of this evil plan, I can't thank you enough. Amen, love to you. Thank you so much, okie dokie. I really appreciate the support on that. It's going to go towards our fund to purchase these documents for sure. All right, so now you know what the Dan Judd letter says. Now, who is Dan Judd? Please, you got to understand this. Before you start thinking, oh my God, maybe that's true. No, let's talk about who Dan Judd is. Dan Judd and his wife Tammy Judd were members of a vow preparing people, the culty group. Okay, Dan Judd purports to have inherited a copy of one of the missing books of Mormon, the Book of Lehi. He's got this book. It came from his family, and he'll be the next exalted. Who knows? Whatever. But he's saying he has this imaginary book, and there was a falling out, I believe, between him and the leaders of a vow, like Sean Littlebear. Well, not that Sean's a leader of a vow, but between Christopher Parrott and Sean Littlebear and those, because they were like, dude, if you got the put up or shut up, let's see the book. And he didn't want to put it up. So they're like, yeah, whatever, get out of here with your nonsense. So there's a big falling out. I think that was the reasons, possibly something else, but a big falling out between Dan and Tammy Judd and the vow preparing a people side of things. Dan and Tammy Judd have been all over Facebook, and they've been posting things like they went to a Preparing a People event in 2017 where they met Chad and Tammy and Lori, and even Tylee was there, I think they said. And it's like, oh, goodness. So yeah, that you have to take everything that Dan Judd is saying with a enormous mountain of salt. Could there be something to this? I suppose, but so, I've seen there's a little bit of a thing on Twitter when this first came out about, oh, Tammy was killed with pure beta. No, nobody has said that. That is not in any official document. That could be Dan Judd's wild imagination. He certainly has been gifted with a fantastic imagination. So please remember that. Okay. But he came to the family with this. So, but they rightfully turned it over to the FBI, said, here's what we heard. I don't know. Right. So you can be sure that the FBI has looked into these allegations. So take it all. That's this, Yeah, this is not an official thing where law enforcement is saying this happened. No, this is the family saying this person told us this crazy stuff, so please look into it. Right? That's all it means. Okay. So that's really important. That bothered me that people were starting to tweet, "Oh my God, Tammy was killed with pure beta." I was like, no, it's not what that means. Please, let's not do that. So let's keep in mind the origin of this letter. Okie dokie. Rose is the middle name of Zulema. I thought her middle name was Ruth. I thought it was Zulema Ruth. I'm not sure. But thank you again for the super chat. It says, thanks for Tastefully Frugal. Okay. I really thought it was Ruth. We will definitely check on that. I have Zulema's documents over in Discord, so we'll check that up again. But, so yeah, that's what's happening with this letter. Jenny says, if you look up Adam Andi Aman, it may shed some light on why Lori would want to go to Independence, Missouri. Yeah, we were wondering that. We've been talking about that a lot. Apparently, there is a very large LDS community in Independence. It is the New Zion type of thing, I think it's called. But also now with the connection with Audrey, who is also involved in preparing people and all of that, being in Independence, it makes a whole lot more sense. So that more of that will come out. Certainly law enforcement knows. And when it's time for it to be released, we will find out for sure. But it's something we're definitely looking at. Independence, Missouri. All right, so let's move on. Now we've done the Dan Judd letter, which is crazy town. All right, this letter. What is this one? Northwest Phoenix. Okay, this is Alex wiring money to Colombia. Now, this I had never heard of before. All right. I don't know what this is about. Let's look at this. It's hard to read because it's very pale. Oops, wrong button. Basically, the important part of this is that Alex sent 3 separate money transfers between 2015 and 2018 to individuals in Colombia. And this is South America, Colombia. Okay, not like Columbia City thing. Attached to the money transfer details. Lori, Melanie, and Tylee were all negative. Okay. Now, I do not have the paper that shows the money transfer details as who Alex sent this money to, right? And we also know from documents coming up that he traveled to Colombia more than once. Why? Who the heck is in Colombia? And why would Alex be sending money there? That is very, very intriguing to me. So that's something we're going to be looking at a lot. All right, so keep this in the back of your mind. FBI internal checks from Houston and Phoenix both received tips through Guardian system related to the death of Charles. The tips allude to the idea that his death is a homicide attributed to Lori and Alex. Both tips were closed as informational only and outside of federal jurisdiction. I will look into pulling copies of the tips. Open source information, CLEAR, Clear, provided a P.O. box of Sugar City, Idaho, as a recent address for Lori and Alex. Very interesting. Why would they need a P.O. box? What was sent there? Do they know anything about that? Because that would be interesting to know. And phone number associated with the box. So that's something to think about. The Colombia connection is something that we need to know. I thought Zulema was from Chile, not Colombia, but I'm not entirely sure. So we will definitely get more into that. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, now next, this is more about the Colombia stuff, right? We have 3 documents. This one says, I apologize for the delay, but the ARC results were just returned today. Unfortunately, there's no recent travel to Orlando by any of the targets that I could identify. A quick note about ARC, if you haven't looked into these results before, you can only search records by name or credit card number, so you end up with a lot of false positives. There's no filtering by date of birth or travel documents. ARC also only provides air travel booked through a third party travel site like Expedia or Travelocity. So if the passenger books direct with the airline, we will not see it. In the attached spreadsheet, I color-coded the passenger field with matches in red and possible matches in yellow. The origin and destination code fields are also colored red: Phoenix, yellow, Orlando blue, so on and so forth. I searched other Idaho airport codes like Twin Falls, Idaho Falls, and da-da-da. The last booked travel was between 7/14 and 7/19/2019 by Alex. He booked a trip between Phoenix and Colombia. Border crossing history indicates he took this flight. He doesn't have any other border crossing history after his July trip. Lori's last border crossing activity occurred in September 2017 when she took a trip to Cancun. JJ was negative for border activity and ARC results. Okay. And then this one, unclassified, law enforcement sensitive, copy link, Phoenix. Now, this was posted by Garna up on Twitter. Basically, what it's showing is right down here. They went to International Travel Records with CBP, arrived in Dallas, Texas from Santiago, Chile by American Airlines flight, departed Dallas en route to Santiago, Chile, crossed into the United States at Lukeville, Arizona, multiple additional crossings between 2007 and 2008. But for whom? We don't know. All right, this could be, did Alex go to Chile? Or was it Zulema? Or somebody did, but that's all we got on that. So moving on. Next. All right, there's 3 more documents coming up now. I'm sorry, this is going at like a lightning pace with all these crazy different things. We really should just spend like an hour on each one of these things, but I want to get it all out so then we can think and come up with some answers. The next one. These next 3 documents are some of their belief stuff. This one, it says, the 100 have served Heavenly Father throughout the history of the world, but they have worked as a group during the 7 eras of influence. Those were the city of Enoch and building Noah's Ark, the formation of the house of Israel, Abraham through Moses, the Nephite journey to America, during Jesus' ministry, both in Jerusalem and the Americas, the American Revolution, and signing the Declaration of Independence, the restoration of the Church of Jesus Christ in the Northeast United States, and then something else that's redacted. No idea what that is. Okay, and the next one. These, oh goodness, these are. They've taken people and given them roles like a play or something. Hiram Smith is Russell Nelson. He is I believe the acting office of the head elder thing of the LDS Church currently. I don't know the name of his exact position. I apologize. I don't mean to be rude, but I just don't know what he's called. He's like, the president thing. Brigham Young was a prophet. Heber Kimball was a witness. David Bednar, he's an elder. Bednar, he's one of the quorum of the 12 apostles, is a king. Sean Littlebear is a priest. Okay. Look at all these names. David Bednar's here twice. Is this just them? I don't know what they're doing. Oh, how nice of them to list Jesus Christ as a prophet and Melchizedek priest. Okay. All right. So this is what they do. They sit down and they make these lists. Oh, look, Jeff Rowe is actually a witness. That was Julie Rowe's husband. They are now divorced, but he's listed here as a witness. Now, certainly we've been wondering about the exact involvement between Julie Rowe and all of this stuff. And we think it's a lot deeper than she has certainly let on. That will come out in time. But if her husband is listed as one of these really important people, then maybe there was more to it than she wants everyone to know. But yeah, they're very, very special. Oh, and there's even historical people on here, like Ezra Taft Benson. Okay, all right. And Jesus, they keep giving Jesus roles, but Chad Daybell is James the Just. All right. And Elder Bednar is also John the Baptist, because these are all different periods in time. So saying, between 1 AD and 1830 AD, Elder Bednar was John the Baptist. That's an awfully broad time frame, but okay. So yeah, that's just kind of their craziness. So there you go. So if you want to go through those and do whatever you want, they are up in Discord. But let's move on because, yeah. All right, now this document you see, these are cell phone traces, trace data from West Yellowstone, as you can see. So that shows the towers, it shows the arcs, it shows what they were looking for. So they were definitely looking for all those phones around Yellowstone and West Yellowstone. And there you go. Let me look at the actual text. You can see that. I'll make this part bigger, if you can see. Please see attached draft Google Earth file with the additional true cell data mapped for, redacted. There are several additional data points from September 1st through September 8th. Here, phone was in the West Yellowstone area on the 8th around 1:09 p.m. See below screenshot. Okay, yeah. Be nice to know which phone that was. I'm sure we will find out in time. So this just shows some of the work that they were doing to track these phones and figure out where all these people were. This is a photo. It's very small. I'm sorry about that. We could probably blow it up some. This is a photo, allegedly in the same group of documents from Yellowstone on the 8th of September 2019. There's Lori and JJ. Handsome guy. And next, this is the famous Yellowstone photo that we've all seen showing Tylee holding JJ, the same color shirt he had on in the previous picture, overlooking, it looks like a geyser or a hot basin, and Alex standing there. So this was the photo that was used so many times when they were missing, and we were still looking for them. So, yeah, there's that. All right, now we have this. It says, I have looked at the iCloud data for Lori again this morning. The last pic of Tylee was in Yellowstone on 9/8/2019. That was the photo we just saw. Based on capture time metadata, there are pictures showing Lori, Tylee, JJ, and Alex together. They're driving a Ford SUV or truck. All right, there are no more photographs of Tylee after 9/8/2019. Based on the metadata, I am not certain she made it back from this trip. The metadata on photographs would indicate they were at the park until 9/16/2019. Okay, Algo, this is what you were talking about earlier. This is really confusing, so we got to talk about this. The last photo of JJ was on 9/22. Alex returned to the park on the 6th, and someone was taking a photograph of him taking pics of the falls. All right, this is where it gets really, really confusing. Okay, there are no more photographs of Tylee after September 8th based on metadata. I am not certain she made it back from this trip. Okay, now remember, this could be from very early in the investigation. Okay, or it could be very current information. There's no, as of the date of this email, whenever this date was, which I don't know exactly when this email was, they don't know if Tylee made it back from Yellowstone. That's a problem. But this line, the metadata on photographs would indicate they were at the park until 9/16. Wait a minute. Who was at the park until 9/16? Where did they stay? Can you stay at the park? Were they at a hotel right outside the park? Who was there? Because we know that Alex's phone pinged in Lori's apartment that night, the night of the 8th, and then rolling over into the 9th, and at Chad's yard on the 9th. So Chad, or what's his name? Alex, he was not at the park until 9/16. So when they say they were at the park, do they mean Lori and JJ? You know what I mean? Who was at the park until 9/16? Okay, but that's, this could just be, like Paisley Dream is saying, this could just be, this was early in this investigation, this was something different, but going by this, it's like, wait a second. Why were they at the park until the 16th? Who stayed there? Where did they stay? Where was JJ during that time? And we don't know anything about Tylee's movements after that picture was taken. All right. So certainly as this goes to trial and everything, we'll hear more about that. But that was one thing that made me say, wait a minute. Why were they at the park till the 16th? How did they stay there? Because as far as we knew, they left the park, they drove home, they stopped at the barbecue place, and then everything unfolded from there. So, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But let us move on to the next one. All right. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing. We've all talked a lot about Alex, right? And how come he was never held accountable for Charles's murder and all this other stuff. But this shows that law enforcement was trying to do everything they could to get the information out of Alex that they needed. And so here was part of their plan. It says Ryan, which the felony charge, meaning Joseph Ryan, which was the felony charge for Alex, to see if they can get us a court-certified copy of the conviction. Nate, did this come up for you in your investigation? I can't remember if we discussed it. Ricky and RPD are more than willing to look at the state or federal felon in possession charges to maintain the guns and get Alex into custody on the charge and see if they can get info regarding JJ with the added pressure. Though obviously he likely wouldn't say anything if he was harmed, but it may help if they are just trying to conceal him to prevent DCS taking him. All right, so there was a thought that maybe they're just hiding JJ so he wouldn't be taken, all right, by social services. Okay. We all were kind of hoping for that. RPD stated they initially advised they return the weapons in the next couple of days, but can push that out if we can go this route and allow for planning on the charge. All right, so there you go. Missy brings up a good point, maybe 9/16 as in time, not 9/16. It says 9/16 2019. If that was a time, you wouldn't put like 9 p.m. 16 minutes 2019. So I think that's a date. I'm just not sure if it's actually correct, because if you look at it, let me make it bigger. All right, because they use the date format, 9/18, 9/16. Maybe they meant to put a time, but just put a date format. That's possible. Who knows? But we'll have to figure that out. All right, let's move on. So yeah, that's what they were trying to do with Alex, to at least get him into custody on weapons charges. But let's talk about that. From what I've been able to glean, all right, when he was charged with assaulting Joseph Ryan, okay, it was a felony, but for some reason it gets dropped to a misdemeanor at the end or something. So at that point in time, that he was listed as having the misdemeanor charge, so he was able to legally carry a weapon or something like that. There's some really technicality at that point where he kind of could have legally carried a weapon. So, but they did take his guns away from him. They said that they'd return them, but they were going to try and push it out to see if they could get him on a federal felon in possession charge to get him to talk about JJ. Right, so they were certainly looking at that option and trying to see if they could. Maybe he passed away before they had time, or it wasn't possible, so there's that. But they were trying everything they could to find out where JJ was. All right, let's move on. This is interesting. Here we go. This shows that they were surveilling Zulema and Alex before Alex's death. So Zulema was seen this morning around 10 a.m. driving this vehicle with the below dealer plate. Below is the dealer info and VIN listed for the sale on the website. Zulema was dressed in conservative dress clothes, and Jim was able to follow her to the Gilbert Temple. The car is on her name and is expired. I'm not aware of anyone being a dealer. Two subjects that resemble Alex and Zulema seen last night around 1840 hours, leaving in the Ford silver truck. They returned around 1930 hours, just updating you. All right, so why is this interesting to me? First thing is we know that Zulema is going to Temple a lot. Remember in the previous documents that we got out of Arizona showing Zulema's involvement in this work that they were doing on Charles, right? They were watching her. They were following her. This, I think, was later than that. But they were trailing Zulema and Alex. So, and what, she's using a fake dealer plate or something? Who knows? I don't know whatever happened with that investigation. But they were actually watching Zulema and Alex. So that was like, oh, that's excellent. Right? All right. Isn't this the same temple that Melody went to? It's possible. Because we know Melanie Gibb was in the area at some time. The date of this would determine who was going there at the time. But yeah, that was a frequently attended temple by some of them. All right, let's go on. This one, no need to read the whole thing. It's just basically showing that they were also looking at social media records. I'm looking at Tylee's Facebook records. Not a lot, but there's some glaring stuff for me, like the IP info shows California and Kansas after the event. Someone had access to her account and logged in. I doubt it's her. Okay, so that's a thing. Here's some more about the social media things they were looking at. Like Lori and Alex had Snapchat accounts. Tylee had Skype account. Lori and Melanie had Venmo accounts. All that kind of stuff. So they really dug into all of the different social media accounts that they had. And, if they know of the account, they probably know what was in there. So there's that. Should be reassuring for sure. All right, the next one. All right, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. A few more to go. This one is interesting. Melanie Boudreau, about the Kansas thing. Julie is from Kansas. Duality Reality says, I believe Adam Cox lives in Kansas. So yeah, there is a Kansas connection for sure. All right, this one. I'll just read it, and then it'll be obvious what it's about. Melanie Boudreau, I believe this is law enforcement or FBI. I forget. I'll look at my notes. Melanie Boudreau just reached out to me through Ian. She told me that she wanted to do the right thing and help clear her name. She said she had a lot of information but was hesitant to provide it in an interview setting at this time due to her previous bad experience with the police. She said she wanted to write a written statement to start, and then we could ask her follow-up questions based on what was in the statement. I told her that would be fine, and we appreciated any assistance she was willing to provide. Okay. She mentioned getting some nasty texts from people about what is going on with Chad and Lori, and she wants to clear her name. Melanie raised two issues with me, and they asked me to find out for her. First, it was if she could get back some personal property from Rexburg that includes a computer. I told her I would check on the status and let her know. I already talked to Ray about it. They have them, but have not gotten the warrant yet to search them. The second was if there was a way for us to help get some Christmas gifts from her to her children. She knows she cannot try to contact them herself. When I told her I would check, perhaps Ryan can see if that is something Brandon would accept. If he would, we can arrange to have them shipped to a third-party address who can see that her children get them. We had heard from Ian last Friday that Melanie was planning to seek legal advice from Chad and Lori's attorney, but she did not say anything about being represented to me, and that attorney has never reached out to say he represents her. Melanie plans to work on the statement tonight. I told her I would follow up tomorrow and see how it's coming. So there's that. Now, the whole Melanie Pulowski-Ian thing is really strange. We know that he had worked with the FBI. He had worn a wire to see if she would say anything about the shooting against Brandon or where the kids were or anything like that. And when Melanie found out about it, they still stayed together, even though he had worn a wire to spy on her for the FBI. I don't know. You do you, boo. And so apparently Ian had reached out to law enforcement on Melanie's behalf, saying she wanted to tell her story. Also, she wants her computer back, and can they please get some presents to her kids? Interesting focus there. All right, so did Melanie ever submit her statement, Maya? I don't know. I'm sure that will come out at some point. I'm pretty sure she is definitely on the witness list. So if she did make statements to law enforcement, that will probably come out when she's on the stand. So we will see that. Let's move on. What is next? All right, this is just some things about the phones. They were looking at all the different phones. Now, yes, we know from these documents they do have some burner phones, throwaway phones, okay? Starts making calls on, now this I believe is about Chad, the number 401 number, I believe is Chad. Starts making calls on October 8th and only communicates with Lori's known and Alex's throw phone. Okay. Chad paid for 4 rooms at the Holiday Inn in Springville on the 22nd, according to his bank records. I'm sure for the funeral. We should pull the registry to confirm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be for Tammy's funeral as well. That would make sense. Looks like the 401 number device, which is Chad, travels down to Utah for the funeral as well. From the CDRs and mapping, it looks like Chad possibly stayed at the Holiday Inn Express at the address, mapped below with HI indicating location of the Holiday Inn. He called this hotel on his 208 number. That means what? He had 2 phones with him on the 20th and at 8:48. If we could pull the hotel registry from that day or just determine that Chad stayed at this hotel, it would definitely firm up that he was using the 401 number. 401 is texting Lori that day as well. All right, so this just shows they have all kinds of phones, and the phones are moving and texting each other. But why does somebody need multiple cell phones? That's kind of strange to me. Can anyone point out where the individual units were? Okay, this is back from the Rexburg investigation. Where the individual units were for Lori, Alex, Melanie that they rented in the complex. Also, we'd have possibly a Ring doorbell footage from the 9th. Looks like Chad's 401 number phone possibly came to the complex around 1:20 and stayed about an hour on October 9th. Interesting. Because remember, when we got the probable cause affidavit for Chad, we saw a lot of stuff about got distracted by Chad. We saw a lot of stuff about Alex's cell phone and a few things about Chad, but it doesn't say in there that Alex's phone was at the apartment complex, Lori's apartment complex, on the 9th at any time. But, maybe that'll all come out, or maybe that wasn't actually his phone. We'll find out. First pictures from the GPS associated with Alex's Google account. The second, slightly zoomed out, is of Chad's number 401 phone, and it's texting Alex's 334 phone, and then with Lori's 480 phone. See how many phones these people have. Good grief. All right, next one. This one, I do not believe that the audio file is actually attached in this discovery, but it says, I did find this audio on Lori's phone. It's titled Lori's Testimony. There's a modification date of 2/25/19. Redaction. Listening to her testimony, she is self-prophesying, and everything she does is because her Heavenly Father tells her. Enjoy the listening. Will really help to understand her thinking. All right, so that's significant. We haven't heard that, but then again, we've heard Lori's testimony in other places, that meeting she had at the house that was recorded. It's just probably typical Lori speak. So maybe we'll get to hear that someday. But she definitely does think that, at least, she portrays that she thinks, who knows? I don't even know what she thinks. But yeah, so these are law enforcement discussing that she had these very unusual conversations recorded on her phone. So enjoy the listening. Yep. All right. This is also an email to Detective Moffat, and this is from one of Charles's sons. Okay, and this is really heartbreaking too. First off, I hope all is well with you, and thank you so much for you and your team's efforts. While we understand you can only share certain information with us, we had a few questions. Alexander Cox is a convicted felon, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, yet he was able to obtain a gun, most likely illegally. We are concerned for our family's safety and would like to have protection order in place. According to someone, sister-in-law to someone, we have found pictures on Facebook of him going to Colombia in 2016. Do Al, Lori, or Tylee have any travel restrictions during the investigation? Have any charges been filed against Al, Lori, or Tylee? Okay, interesting that they mentioned Tylee there, but this is from one of Charles' sons asking the detective what's going on in the investigation, asking them some questions. They respond with this. Al was a convicted felon, but completed terms of his here we go. Al was a convicted felon, but completed the terms of his probation, which reduced the charge to a misdemeanor, so he is legally carrying his firearm. There is no travel restrictions on anyone involved in this case because at this time there is not probable cause to arrest them. I am guessing that the Colombia trip was by chance, as he was on vacation for a few weeks at the time of this incident. We are still working on the case and anxiously awaiting the cell phone records we have requested under search warrant. I will keep in touch as we progress the investigation. I am hopeful to receive these records any day and reached out to them today to follow up, and I am waiting a response. If anything else comes up, please feel free to call or email. And here is a follow-up email. An update reference to Alexander Cox. He is deceased as of 16:19 hours yesterday on 12/12. He was found with labored breathing, unresponsive at his shared residence with Zulema. Redaction. Zulema and her family refused to provide statements to me, but they talked with the initial officers. I'm going to review the body-worn camera footage and talk more with those who obtained statements. During the service of a residential warrant, redaction, processing of the phones is in the works. I talked with the medical examiner about this case, redaction. Contact with Alex and Lori's parents has not happened yet. However, Gilbert Intel is working on getting something. This is the case that keeps on giving. Call, text, or email as needed. I'll be available. Otherwise, I'll provide an update after tomorrow's autopsy. Yeah, there's a lot in here. All right, now, this next part, this is heartbreaking. This is very, very hard. This is information from Kay to law enforcement about everything that's going on. All right, so, oops, sorry, my computer beeped. Here we go. Let's read this. This is from Kay Woodcock. JJ finally FaceTimed us yesterday for a whopping 36 seconds. When he calls often, it's not unusual for him to quickly hang up, but then he will call back and hang up 5 or 10 times. He's adorable. We have not seen or talked to him in approximately 2 weeks. All contact with him is extremely short, as was the call yesterday. He's very easy to manipulate, and his diabolical homicidal mother knows this. When he calls, his voice is always exuberant and loud. He was subdued, to say the least, on yesterday's call. We were encouraged to see him, yet worrisome due to his lack of excitement. Last night, I requested from Lori via email and text permission for JJ to visit Phoenix next weekend. I'm sure it will go unanswered, but I must try. I have reason to believe they're still in the area due to her niece Melanie and Brandon Boudreaux's divorce status. I'm assuming Melanie can't move out of the area due to child visitation restrictions for her common mandate where parental visitation is concerned. Per someone, Melanie is in the cult with Lori, which is reason for Mel and Brandon's divorce. Someone recently told me that Lori doesn't want JJ. He ties her down, and she can't handle him anymore. A friend of Charles, who doesn't know Lori's family, that I spoke with Friday, told me the same thing. It triggered a memory of Charles telling me the exact same thing. I responded that Lori said that only to hurt him, and she didn't mean it. But this is me being gullible. I can't imagine a mother feeling that way because I can't believe a mother could feel that way. It dawned on me that when Lori split on 1:30, that's why JJ's clothes were gone too. It puzzled me since it happened. She took Charles and JJ's belongings because she was going to keep the house but didn't want either of them. It all makes sense now. My epiphany has significantly heightened our concerns for JJ's safety and well-being. I placed calls Friday to his school administrator, one of his teachers, someone, and the attorney who handled their divorce proceeding in February, which Charles didn't follow through. We want to have court-ordered visitation if necessary. I say that knowing she won't give up trying to keep us away. Not that she wants him, it's that she wants to punish us too. Except murder me too would not be smart. I say that, but I'm having numerous profile views on my LinkedIn profile, all from Phoenix and Utah areas. I know nobody there except for Lori and family. Her text to me about 2 weeks ago were pics of the original insurance policy naming her beneficiary, then the one where Charles named me. Next text, redacted. She is pissed. I suppose that she's having her cult friends try to intimidate me on LinkedIn. She's got to do more than that. I wish she would call and ask for money if she gives us JJ. I know what's on her mind. It would be stupid on her part. You, blank, said not to trust blank and blank, which we don't. I share only superficial thoughts and mostly listen to her complain about how dysfunctional blank family is. My thought, if they're using me to siphon info, why couldn't I share something not true with them and kind of set up Lori? Just a thought. No worries, though. I would never do anything without consulting you first. I pray you're making useful progress with your case. There's always a hero to the piece. Kay Woodcock and Larry Woodcock says by Told by Thalen. All right, let's go on next. All right, this is from law enforcement. This is the last email that I'm tapping out for the night. Call interactions to images. The Cox 9120 True Subscribed phone appears to stay at or near the apartments during the attempted shooting. It makes an outbound text at 2116 to Lori. I'm showing drive time from apartment to Chad's, and it's about 10 minutes. So this would be the shooting attempt of Tammy. It shows up again at 2328, where it sends an outbound text to something. We can't see the towers associated with the text since it's Verizon, but the Google location information is there for the relevant time period. I can bookend the Google location data for Alex's account from 2123 to 2343 at the apartment. And next, this isn't just a photo of JJ that was in there that I hadn't seen before. And who doesn't want to look at more pictures of JJ? So there's that. And this picture, this was also included. This is it's such a beautiful picture of Tylee with Lori too in Hawaii. Now, we weren't sure where this was from or when it was from, but Eric Grossarth said that he saw this on social media, dated from September of 2017. Okay, so it was a while ago, but look at how beautiful she is. I wish I could. Can I? Yep. There we go. That's better. That's way more beautiful. Thank you, Rosie, for the super chat. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's the girl. And she looks very happy there. So this was from 2017. All right, and I believe that is, have we come to the end? I'm pretty sure I say, some new stuff came up. That was going to be the last image, but new stuff came up in the meantime. This is a law enforcement message, just basically saying that Alex and Lori had a really weird relationship around the day that JJ disappeared. He was shopping for a coat for her. Strange. That's a little strange. And that's a picture of Alex. But there you go. Now, Justin has posted all the statements from the Chandler Police Department, the narratives of the statement written by law enforcement of their interviews with Lori, Tylee, and Alex after Charles' shooting. Now, we've had these before. These are not new. But if you want to reread them, they are up. I posted them up again in Discord so you can find them more easily. We're not going to read through it here because it would be 2 more hours of stuff. But here's all the statements of everything that happened from Lori, Tylee, and Alex. So if you want to give those a good read, Justin's got them on Facebook. They're up in Discord. If you have all of the older documents from Channel, they're in there. They're in there, so you can read them there. But anyway, I'm going to put that pretty picture back up. Not of that guy, because yuck. How about this? But I'll crop it so there you go. Let's just leave that on the screen. So let me watch chat for a minute. What do you guys think of everything we have seen so far? Let me know. My husband just brought home lunch, and I really want to eat it. So if any of you all want to come on and talk, so I can eat for a minute, that'd be cool. Sorry, I had to have a bite. Delicious. Leah says, I love Tylee more than her own mother. Algo says we need more lives to go through with the rest. Yeah, as more comes out, we will. We'll take it in chunks. Once I have the entire file, or the 2,500 pages, then I'll upload them in as big a chunk as I can at a time. I don't know what the file server limit is for Discord, but I'll get them all up and we can start pouring through them. My goodness. Tylee would have protected JJ, says Tina Osborne. Hey, Maureen Walsh, how are you doing? I haven't seen you for a while. Glad you're here. This is only the beginning. This is absolutely only the beginning. Remember, this discovery that we're getting now is only about the case from Charles' shooting. This is not even about the Rexburg. Certainly a lot of this stuff will tie in to what's going on in Rexburg, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to be, we have a long way to go. Long way to go. Let's see. Diana Simmons says, look again at the pic of them in Yellowstone. It looks like Alex is talking to someone. Yeah, it does. I agree with you on that. Mistake. Thank you for the super chat. Mistake says, this is so worth the wait. Yeah, it's really, it's hard to read because it reaffirms a lot of suspicions. It connects a lot of dots. It makes the big picture more clear. And the more clear it gets, the harder it is. It's a very, very hard case to deal with. Tylee was such a beautiful young woman. Yes, she would. Look at that picture. She is gorgeous. Look at her. She's happy. Oh, her hair looks beautiful. She's just, that's what we're here for. Look at that face, And what I need to do is get more pictures of her and JJ, because we are also absolutely here for JJ as well. That's the point of all of this. Yeah. Oh, Emily Flotilla, thank you for the super chat. Please remember those thumbs up, she says. Thank you for being here, Emily, who's always here. I really appreciate you more than you know. Oh, Falcon Onion says, Tylee is far better a protector parent figure to JJ from then until forever. Yep, definitely. All right, so that's all the documents that are out so far. There are so many more to come. Now, the people that have them, like Justin, follow Justin Lum on Twitter, Nate Eaton at East Idaho News. He's also on Twitter. Garna Mejia. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. I've never heard her say it, so I'm not sure what it is. She's over at KSL News. She's on Twitter. She's going through it. And as she goes through it, she's posting everything and her thoughts on it. Certainly Pretty Lies and Alibis, the other podcast and YouTube channel, they have the documents. They're posting tons of stuff. So yeah, follow all of them. All of those links are in the description so you can find everyone. Make sure we thank them for all their hard work of reading through all these things and putting them up so the rest of us can look at them and go, what? Oh my God. Peggy K, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And that super sticker is adorable. Thank you so much. Yep, Justin's been doing a lot of live streams on Facebook and stuff. So definitely follow him on Facebook and Twitter, because sometimes he'll catch one heavier than the other. So you don't want to miss anything. How did this document release come to be? Justin Lum of Fox 10 News with, I believe, Nate Eaton and Garna Mayer from KSL News and someone from the AZ Family News. They all got together and they filed a joint FOIA request for these documents a long time ago. And they have finally gotten them now. They will be available through public records request in a little bit. Chandler said that they are still working on digitizing them and getting them into that format so that you can request them publicly. And as soon as that happens, we'll have them. So there you go. I know, I don't like Facebook either, Living Dead Girl, but I follow him on both because it's Justin Lum. You got to follow him everywhere, Women of Steel, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I'm so glad that we've been talking a lot lately, and I hope you enjoy your diamond painting. Let me know how that goes. Oh, Henrietta Erasmus. Hi, nice to see you, Henriette. How are you doing? I hope you're doing safe. I hope you're staying very safe. I feel so sad for Tylee. I always think she was so used to Lori in the worst ways. Yep. Or so used by Lori. Yep. I agree. As told by Thielen, because you have to pay for the production of the FOIA, let the news outlets pay. Well, yeah, but I will buy a copy of them as soon as they go public too, because then I can have them in my hot little hands and rifle through them at will. It's easier that way. But yeah, they did. They were released as a result of the FOIA request. So thank all of them for the work in getting that done so we could have them. Yep. Definitely. Oh. Let's see. My neighbor just got hired as security. Oh, well, let's not talk about that. Kresha is here. And Kresha, I know this must be really hard. I hope, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where I have to talk about the public documents, although I know how hard it must be. So, oof, that is just tough times. I'd kind of rather just leave all the super sensitive stuff out, but it's out there. And if it's out there, you got to talk about it. The uncomfortable has to become comfortable at some point. Yeah, the initial FOIA request too. Yeah, for me, I think it would be about 400, 375, 400 if it's 15 cents a page. But I don't know if that transfers to digital stuff. I have no idea. We'll find out. I'm going to learn how to do this the hard way. Oh. There's a video out there of Alex going to a singles party vacation somewhere in South America and hooking up with a woman there. She did this video and talks about her relationship with Alex. Excellent. Vegan tattoo. I want to see that. So I will go look for that. Hi, Mark David. How are you doing? I'm glad to see you. Haven't chatted with you or where. Let's see. Poor Go could, yeah. Thankful we're getting new information. Jury selection. Any thoughts? We are so far away from jury selection, I think, because they're going to, what was the last filing? I know both John Pryor and Mark Means have filed for a change of venue. So we don't even know where the trial is going to be. Yeah, we're very far away from jury selection. For sure. Let's not worry about that yet, because that's going to be a whole nother nightmare. How can you get a fair trial when people across the globe are watching it? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what impact social media and the internet are going to have on our justice system long term for things like jury selection. Because how can you turn on a computer and never heard about this case? So I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, but yeah. No, Granny Sue, Larry and Kay were not asking about charges against Tylee. That question came from one of Charles's sons, Cole or Zach, who was emailing law enforcement to ask them the status of the investigation. And they said no. There were no charges against Lori, Alex, or Tylee. Because remember, the only other people there were Lori, Alex, and Tylee. I don't think they were saying Tylee did anything wrong. They were just asking law enforcement what was going on in the investigation. So, yeah. Goodness. Okay, I will definitely check that out. The Columbia thing really threw me for a loop because we've been sending money there and going down there. It's like, what? What on earth? And of course, I'm thinking, is this one of those let's dig up the lost Mormon books trips or what? No, but no, I don't think it was. So, yeah, we'll dig into that for sure. Yeah, Living Dead Girl Charles does have other children. Yep, and that's who that exchange was from. His other children. Remember, those were the children that Lori had emailed, like, sorry, your dad died, gotta go. So those emails, we have those emails somewhere, or text messages rather, they're posted on the internet. So yeah, there's that. So, all right, that's all that I have so far. I'm eagerly awaiting the full rest of the documents. As new stuff comes up, we will let you know. Because there's always stuff happening here. This case did not stop. All right, so if you want to read the long documents that I put up, where are they? Let me show you. This is stuff that's been out for a while. Chandler PD released a lot of the information about Charles's investigation, as far as the statements from Lori and Chad and Tylee. We've had those for a long time, but Justin did repost them today. So if you want to see them, please come on over to Discord. Check out Justin on Facebook. He's got them up there. If you have the big PDF file from the Chandler Police Department about this, then you've already got them. So if you want to give them a read, it now might be a good time to reread through them all. Right? Because there's a lot of little subtle things that make more sense in light of all the documents that we've gotten. So if you want to talk about all of these stuff more and get your hands on the documents yourself, come on over to our Discord server. It's totally free. Doesn't cost you anything to join. And if Discord tries to sell you something, don't do it. It's totally free. But we're putting every single document that we get up in the server, and there's big discussion channels, so you can talk about it all day long. There's a lot more puzzle pieces to connect with all this, but I think we've gotten a lot of pretty big answers to things. So, yeah, we'll see what's coming late. There's a lot on the way. All right, so thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow night, don't forget to join me for the Toxic Bliss Breaking Free series on narcissism that we're now doing publicly. So that'll be right here tomorrow night. You can all join in. Totally different. It's a totally separate thing from the Vallow case. We're just talking about recovering from narcissistic abuse and all that good stuff. So be kind. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I'm so glad you're here. Be kind is one of our most popular posters in the Toxic Bliss series, so it's really good to see her here. Kresha says, because we got the story initially about Tylee having something to do with my uncle's death, we were misinformed and quickly learned the truth that Tylee had no part in his murder. Obviously, yeah. I mean, you got to remember, if you're sitting there and all you hear is Charles is dead, and you know that Alex and Lori and Tylee were there, and Alex is saying Tylee had a bat, and of course you don't know what's going on. You're like, okay, this is where you count on law enforcement to be like, can you figure out what the heck's going on? So yeah, nobody was accusing Tylee of a crime, but that, there were questions. There were a lot of questions. And it looks to me like Chandler PD has answered them in spades. So yeah, one of the things I liked about this document dump the most is seeing just how detailed everything has been, when a lot of us are like, did you really look into that? Yeah, oh yeah, they did. Although Emily Flotilla has a question. Who was at the pool party? If anybody knows and can prove who was there at that pool party, we still want to know. I want answers to that question. Who was there? Who was at the pool party? So, yep. Oh. All right. So I need to go back to work because I'm collating all this information into the timeline and all of that. And there's more every 10 minutes, there's new documents coming. So I got to go grab them all. But I'm going to do that. We'll do another live stream after we have another big batch. So probably a couple of days. I'll get them all organized and in order. Everything I get I'm going to put it up in Discord. So you won't miss anything. All right. And if it comes to me uploading 2,500 individual pages, I'll do it because I have nothing else to do. That's my job. All right, so thank you all for being here. I hope to see a lot of you tomorrow. If you have any experience with narcissism or toxic relationships, come join our little group. It's a lot of fun and it's very uplifting. So we'll be doing that. And feel free to join us in Discord, and we will talk to you very soon. Thanks, everyone. Thank you to all the mods for being here. I know this was a long live stream, but thank you. I appreciate it. Bye, everyone. Let me find the goodbye button. There it is.